guys, today we are talking about questions that I had for my stockpile. The number one question was, how do I keep mice and bugs out of my stockpile? That was the number one question I got over and over and over again. So I am going to answer that question, but let me go through and do several questions. And if you have questions on stockpile, please put it in the description. It helps if you write the word question in all caps so Mike can capture it easier, because our comments are going quicker and quicker. We're probably gonna have to put them on slow mode eventually. But anyway, if you could put that in there, that would be helpful. All right, number one is from Psalm 146. She got some dented cans from Walmart when she ordered on groceries, and she's wondering if the food is spoiled. Probably not. If the seal was not broken, you're okay. But I wouldn't keep it for, 5 to 10 years. I would maybe only keep it 6 months to a year. But when cans get dented and smashed in and that kind of thing, it breaks the integrity of the can. So I would say I would go ahead and use it right away.
If they're dented and they seem a little swollen on part of it, then that would be bad. Any swelling is bad.
Yeah, don't use any canned good that's swollen.
Yeah.
Because it means that there's botulism in there. That's what's the swelling. It's the bacteria. So don't use any canned good that's swollen. Does our list have how to build a food storage with let's see, Karen, does your list of how to build a food storage achieve what you have? I mean, are you talking about my achievement? Maybe, I guess. I use the same thing. So that's what I do, is build off of that. That's my list of stuff that I usually do. All right. Let me see. Everybody was excited about my Yorkshire tea.
I knew they were gonna like that one.
Got that at where did I get World Market, I think. And a couple of viewers sent me some. So
we need to post for them the picture of the Yorkshire tea that Toby gave you.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. It was huge.
It was
he had this bag like this. Oh, you can see my gardening war wounds. He has a bag like this big. I think there was 1,000 tea bags in it. It was huge. So now everyone also was concerned about my tomatoes and pineapple. Now, I have never had, they were concerned that the acidity in pineapple and tomatoes will explode the cans. They've had cans explode. I personally have never had that happen. And I've had tomato cans 8 years old, and they were perfectly fine. I've never experienced that. But for those of you that are worried, now, by the way, that can fell back behind, so I didn't know, so it didn't get rotated. But for those of you that are worried, I really don't keep more than a year's worth of food. I try to keep it rotated out quick enough so that I don't ever have, well, I'm not going to say ever, but, I frequently use everything. So I try not to have more than a year's worth of food on hand. I do have some number 10 cans, like my eggs here, that I'm going to talk about in a minute. But those are for longer term storage, and powdered eggs are hard to find. So that's a hard way to do it. And a lot of people ask this question: do you freeze your rice, beans, and flour? And if so, how long? I do not. And I never have.
How
now,
much beans?
Because bugs get in there. So let's go ahead and answer the other thing. Mike put the link in there for how long do foods last past their expiration date. We have a video on that.
It's a video on YouTube?
Or on Living on a Dime. Go to livingonadime.com. And we have a list of how long after expiration dates. Okay, so everyone was worried about mice and bugs and rodents getting into my stockpile because it was on the floor and not sealed up. First of all, Mike's gonna put the the link for the expiration date article that we have on our website. First of all, I live in Wyoming now. I used to live in Colorado. We don't have a bug problem in these two states. We have a few mosquitoes, but we don't have crazy ants. We don't have cockroaches. We don't have spiders really bad. We
don't have crazy ants.
Yeah. Well, I got a crazy ant, but you know, but we just don't have bugs like they do in Kansas or Mississippi or Minnesota, or wet climates are where all the bugs are. We do not have that here. So I'm not really worried about it. But secondly, we do take precautions. And once a year, we spray our house thoroughly with bug and spider killer. We just buy the one online that the professionals use. And we're not professionals and we use it. And
but I can read the instructions.
You can read the instructions, dear. So we buy the professional strength online that exterminators use. And once a year we spray our house. So just to be cautious. Mice. We don't really have a mouse problem. We lived kind of in the country in Colorado. We live in the city, but it's kind of in the country here in Wyoming. And here in Wyoming, I think we have enough snakes that they help take care of the mice. In Colorado, we had oh shoot, I should have, can you get on our Amazon affiliate?
No, well.
And we had a little device. And I was talking to Mom and Grandma, and I think this actually helps with the mouse problem. Because in Colorado, we only had 2 mice the entire time we lived there. And so I think that helped take care of it. So type in Sonic mouse. Yep, repellent is what it was. Mike's going to get you a link here. Maybe. Yep. Oh. And we've got this little plug-in thing. Let's see, where's the one that I used? It's similar to that one. So you can just get the link for that. This is an affiliate link. Yeah, I mean, that's fine. Yeah. We got this Sonic thing that you plug in to your electrical outlets. And I've used it for 2 or 3 houses. And I've never had mouse issues. So I think it may actually work. It may be all in my head. I don't know. But I don't have mice. Now, back to the repellent thing. Or I mean, back to the sitting on the floor thing. This is a work in progress. And as I showed you in the video, I had some empty cat litter totes that I haven't got filled yet, that the sugar and the extra flours and some of the rices that are still on the floor, they're going into those. So I just haven't got to it yet. Like I said, we've only been stockpiling for about 3 months because we've been really tired and getting caught up and everything with moving. But all of those do go into totes eventually. So mostly for me, it's for a water issue. But that way, if we happen to get a mouse or something, then I don't have to worry about them getting into it. Now, the other question that goes along with that is on the cat litter totes. Everybody was commenting about that. So first of all, when our niece moved in with us, she brought her 2 cats and we already had a cat. So we had 3 cats at one point for what, 3 or 4 years. We had 3 cats. So that's why I got the cat litter in those totes, because I needed the totes and it was about the same price as the other cat litter. So I just bought them in those big totes, save the totes, and use them for food storage. I have never had an issue with the food tasting like cat litter or the smell or anything. If you're really worried about it, first of all, just wash it out with soap and water and let it dry. No big deal. But if you're super worried about it, you can fill it up with water and put some baking soda in there, and that will absorb the smell. You could also just crumble up some newspaper and let it sit in there for a few days, and that will absorb the smell. But I have never, ever, ever had an issue with smell or anything from the cat litter totes. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. Yeah, so, and like I said, no mice or anything. Sunshine says, I cannot, in capital letters, believe you do not have mice, rodent, ants, or bugs, especially with sugar out like that. I prepare and store food totally different for long-term storage. Listen, it doesn't matter. Store it however you want. I really don't care. But I'm telling you, we don't have a bug problem. We don't have a mouse problem. Now, at the house in Colorado, it could have been that we had 3 cats, too. But in our house in Kansas, we didn't have an issue either. So I think it's partly because we spray and try to keep on top of it. I'm not going to say it's never going to happen, but
one thing I meant to tell you about on the cat litter buckets. Some people were asking, what if one lady had 1 cat that hardly uses any litter, but you can get them from other places, right? Because one time we got all those buckets from that prison.
Yeah. Okay. So on the cat litter buckets, you don't have to use that. You can use 5-gallon buckets. Bakeries have them. Walmart, Kroger, all those kind of grocery stores have them in their bakery. You can get 5-gallon buckets really cheap or free. You can also get them from like schools or hospitals, places like that get use big quantities of food. Sometimes they have them left over. You don't have to use 5-gallon buckets or cat litter buckets. You could use totes. You could use anything that's hard plastic that will keep the stuff out. Now, another person asked about the Diatomaceous Earth. Diatomaceous Earth is a natural, organic, it's crushed fossils, it's a powder, and it's a bug killer. And when you sprinkle it on, an area and a bug walks through it, it scratches its exoskeleton and then it kills the bugs. So what I do, and I didn't demonstrate in the video, is I just get some Diatomaceous Earth and I just sprinkle it around all the corners. All the edges of the room. Then in my cat litter buckets, I will sprinkle a little bit on the top of the food. It's food grade. You can ingest it. They use it to get rid of parasites in people, so it's perfectly safe. Sprinkle
parasites in people, not parasites and people.
Not parasites that are people.
Well, yeah, there's that too.
And I sprinkle it on the top before I seal my bucket, and then I sprinkle a little bit more on the top of the bucket. So I do take several precautions to getting rid of bugs and mice and those kinds of things. Let's see. When I buy staples, do I ask Walmart to buy the whole box? How does that work? If there's a whole box on the shelf and I need it, I'll just take the whole box and buy it. That's what I do. So it's, it's usually not the last thing that they have on the shelf. It's, usually there's several on there. I'm not going to clear them out for all you people who are going to yell at me. But yeah, that's what I do. So how do you handle the expiration dates on the shortening, peanut butter, mayonnaise, jelly, and cereal? I have stuff that is expired and won't throw it out, but my husband won't eat it. Okay, mayonnaise, you have to throw it out. You're going to make yourself sick if you eat really expired mayonnaise. Jelly, cereal, and peanut butter. Peanut butter will probably go rancid from the oils. I haven't been able to keep it more than about 6 months past the expiration date. Jelly and cereal are probably fine 6 months to a year past the expiration date. But if your husband's not going to eat it, why are you buying it? Don't waste money on food you're not going to eat. I mean, that's the biggest point that people need to know is stop buying food that you and your family won't eat. I don't go and buy, I can't think of one thing in my pantry that I bought that we just don't eat on. Well, the dry milk now. Now, most of the family is dairy free, so the dry milk would be the only thing that I can think of that we don't. And the dried butter. But I bought those before we went dairy free. And so, yeah.
Did you answer about how to get rid of the mice?
Mm-hmm.
Did you tell them? Because some people were asking also, they have mice now, like under their stove or something. If you have a mouse now, I would just go get mouse traps and put them out. If you have pets, we always try to keep them away from the pets, put them where the pets can't easily get to them. But like we'd open up the oven door under the stove and put one behind it. Mm-hmm. And you definitely want to get them quick because if you leave them too long, then one mouse will become 40 mice.
Yeah. So. Yeah. And that expired peanut butter, you could use it for that. That would be really good for mice, and maybe the cereal too. Both of those might be good for mice. Tara, where did you get a decent but not too expensive oil lamp? I got mine at Walmart. And that's where I got mine at. So those worked very good. Okay, now here's another thing that really disturbed a lot of people. I mean, they were very disturbed. Your dry goods. Why aren't you vacuum packing or canning your dry foods? Okay. First of all, if you are canning your foods like your rice, your pasta, and your flour, that is a complete waste of energy and time. Really, it is. I mean, if you just want to do that, go for it. But for the average person who is just having a regular stockpile, there is absolutely no reason to can flour, pasta, or rice. There's no reason. Rice will last like up to 20 years. White rice will last up to 20 years just in the regular package. Excuse me. Pasta will last probably 8 to 10 years. And flour, I mean, you can vacuum seal it and get a little bit longer time, but really flour only lasts about 6 to 9 months past the expiration date for it to stay good and not taste rancid. Vacuum sealing Mylar bags with oxygen absorbers and canning all your products is a huge waste of time and money for the average person. If you're a 25-year prepper, you go for it. But the majority of people are not going to be prepping 10 years worth of flour, pasta, and rice. They're just not. It's not reasonable to have that much food on hand. It's just not.
How much?
10 or 20, 25 years.
Yeah.
It's not reasonable. And so that's why I say, do not waste your time. Do not waste your money on buying all those things. I would rather have you get a 1-year stockpile for your, and instead of buying Mylar bags, I'd rather see you have a 1-year stockpile in place first. So personally, I mean, a lot of people were very upset about me not vacuum sealing and Mylar bagging everything. But guys, you should be using this food on a regular basis. And you can have more than a year's worth, but really the average family doesn't have the space or the time or energy to stockpile more than a year's worth of food. They just really don't. If you are that kind of hardcore prepper, you go for it. I have nothing against you for doing that. But to advise people who are beginning to do that, I think is bad advice. So I would not take that advice if you're a beginner prepper and do all that stuff. Okay.
For those of you who are posting questions live, we will be getting to those pretty soon.
Yep.
Tara's going through a list that she had.
So these are all the people.
ones.
Yeah, these are all the people who listed in our video. So I'm going through those first. A lot of people loved my metal shelving. Wasn't that a good? That was a stinking good deal. Oh my goodness! And if I don't use them all, I can turn around and sell them for 3 or 4 times what I paid for them. I paid $20 for them, and I could sell them for $80 or $90. So, but yeah. So let's see. I asked all that. Okay, and then Tay asked the question: what stores sell cases? So we have a store here called Ridley's. It's just a little family store that sells the cases. I know my friend Kimmy from She's in Her Apron. She goes to a store in, I think maybe Sammy's, maybe is what it's called. I can't remember what she called it. But they have a store that does case lot sale in Utah. Winco does case lot sales. Now, be careful because I did buy the case lot sale because it was just easy, convenient storage for me with the salt. But it was not cheaper than buying it at Walmart. So be careful. Those case lot sales sometimes are a good deal and sometimes they're not. So that's why you have to know your prices. That's why we wrote our price book. Michael put a link for our price book in there. It's a digital form now. We don't do it in print anymore, but it's a digital form. And that's why you need to keep your prices always updated so that you know what is actually a good deal or not. Let's see. Somebody said she notices that we reuse our boxes. Yes, I pull flats of canned goods and flats to put the stuff on there so that it's easy, it's free storage, all of that. So, and another person want to know, what are you prepping for? Oh my goodness, anything. Job loss, like that thing going around. I mean, look at China. They just told everybody, sorry, you ain't leaving your house. And it's been months now. Earthquakes, tornadoes, floods, hurricanes, floods. We've been in 2 floods where we were literally, no, 3 floods? 2 floods?
2 where we couldn't get out of our town for 3 weeks, our little town for 3 weeks each. And then an ice storm where we had no power for 3 weeks.
Ice storms, blizzards. We live in Wyoming now. It's very possible we could have a huge blizzard and they couldn't get trucks through. Trucker strikes. Truckers deciding not to deliver food anymore. Supply chain issues. That's the type of stuff that we are prepping for because you just never know what's going to happen. And then several people ask, why do I have Alka-Seltzer? So I have chronic fatigue syndrome, fibromyalgia. I also have a lot of weird food sensitivities. Drives me batty, but I do. And if I eat something that doesn't agree with me, the Alka-Seltzer helps me feel better. It also helps with my pain and my migraines that I get from my chronic fatigue syndrome and fibromyalgia. So I try to keep that. Now, a cheap or, well, basically free way to do that is baking soda and aspirin. Half a teaspoon of baking soda and some water and 2 aspirin is basically the same thing. The Alka-Seltzer does have citric acid in it, and there's something in the citric acid that makes me feel better. I don't know what it is, but I can drink a thing of orange juice. Actually, I should make some of that. That might make me feel better now I think about it. I can drink a thing of orange juice and I start feeling better. I don't know why, but there's something in the citric acid that helps me feel better. Are you not afraid the oil in the ramen will go net rancid? So, okay, so I actually misspoke. In an earlier video, I said 10 foods that never expire. And the ramen that I was talking about didn't have oil in it, but I forgot that American ramen does have oil in it. And yes, it will go rancid. Now, my boys love ramen. I mean, they'll love it. They'll eat like a package a day. So they eat it for a snack or lunch or whatever. And so we'll go through that in probably a year. So I'm not worried about it because it won't, it'll be used before it goes bad.
So how long would it be before it goes bad if
I would say probably around 1.5 to 2 years is when it would go bad. Yeah. Question, Julie asks, when you're talking about the baking powder not lasting 6 months past the expiration date, and then you said the same for yeast, yet it will last longer in the freezer. So I freeze my yeast, and I've used yeast that's 5 years old out of the freezer. And she said, could the same be true for baking powder by putting it in the freezer to last longer? I'll be honest, I don't know. But Becky answered her question and said, yes, I keep my baking powder in the freezer and I don't go through it very fast anymore. It stays fresh for a long time. That's a new tip I didn't know about. So I'm going to have to check that out. I could see, now the only thing I could see that would be bad with that is baking powder is in like a cardboard container. So I don't know, and it does have a metal or metallic lining on the inside. So I don't know if that would keep the moisture out. I could see moisture ruining it, but I'm not sure. I mean, you could just put it in a Ziploc bag or something then. But I don't know. That's a really good question. Another person said, oh shoot, what was the question? Oops, hold on. What and how much to stock up for one person that's a senior citizen in low-income apartments? Well, just as much as you can. I mean, my aunt lived in a low-income apartment. She was a senior, and she probably had a good 6 months of food in one closet that she turned into a pantry. So just as much as you can. I would just, every time you go to the store, I know I say this all the time, get 5 items and bring it home with you. Everybody can carry an extra 5 items. Most people can't carry an extra 5 items. So that is fine. And then Larry Rare said, I'm so impressed by your setup and organization. I need to up my game. Our pantry is so much smaller. We could probably survive for 2 to 3 months. Listen, don't look at my pantry and think, oh, I can't do anything at all, because Tara's pantry is 2 rooms, basically, a room and a closet, basically. Listen, we have a ridiculously stinking big house. We do. This house is huge. It's almost 5,000 square feet. I do not expect every person to have a pantry like that. But I will tell you, I have lived in a 400 square foot apartment. I have lived in a 600 square foot apartment. I have lived in an 800 square foot house with 2 kids and a husband. You can still do a lot, even with a little space. So just use the space you have and just try to do the best that you can with what you have. The objective is use what you can with what you have. I know another YouTuber, Rob from Little House Off Grid. He stores, now this is a time when canning would be a good thing. He cans his rice and he stores it outside in his well house because they live in a tiny house and they don't have the space. Now that's probably the only time I would say canning your rice and flour in that is a good idea. And so he has this little well covering over his well. And so he stores his stuff out there and then in totes also. So just do what you can with what you have.
And actually, I know Tara probably already mentioned this, but I was looking at comments, but when we had the small house, we would make furniture out of boxes. And there wasn't prepping stuff. It was books for our business. But
like Ellie's bed for what, 5 or 6 years was book boxes.
Book boxes with the bed on, the mattress on top.
Yeah.
And we made a lot of like end tables and things that were just stacks of boxes underneath. They're really nice.
So you decorated. Can do canned goods under your couch.
It was like, was it tablecloths or what?
Yeah, just put a tablecloth
over these nice tablecloths on them, and it looked like it was furniture, but it wasn't. It was boxes of, for us, books at the time. But you could use that for prepping stuff.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Question, how long does Crisco really last? Okay, so the thing with Crisco is Crisco has several uses. I mean, like, oh, Crisco's the best stuff ever. I just said that to get the comments because I know I'm going to get the comments. But it is. Shortening is the best invention ever. It has a fairly long shelf life as far as oils go about a year to year and a half. Sometimes I've squeezed 2 years out of a thing of Crisco. But if you don't use it for baking and cooking, you can use it to make a candle. So you can use it to make candles. You can also use it to make soap. Then you can use it for hand cream, greasing your hands. If you have dry skin and you run out, I saw you back there. And my poor kids are trying to eat dinner and mom's doing a show. And so you can use Crisco for lots and lots of things. Now, for people who are just having a hissy over using Crisco for baking, you have got to get some perspective. This is a little Tara moment here.
Oh, wait, I missed it. About what?
People hollering about using Crisco because it's going to kill you. I bake with Crisco. Honestly, at this point, now that BJ and Ellie aren't at home, I bake maybe twice a month with Crisco. But let's just say I used Crisco once a week for a coffee cake or something like that when the kids were at home and I was baking more. You have to keep it in perspective. Usually it's about a half a cup of Crisco. Okay, so a half a cup of Crisco. Actually, let's just do the math, shall we, real quick? So a half a cup of Crisco would be 4 times 4 is 16 tablespoons of Crisco. Let me make sure I'm doing this right. A half a cup of Crisco is 1, 2, 3, 4 is 6 tablespoons. So a half a cup, is that right? Wait a minute. My brain is going. How many tablespoons in a cup? 16. Okay, yeah, 8. I was right. Okay, a half a cup of Crisco is 8 tablespoons. Okay? 8 tablespoons times 3 is 24 teaspoons. So you divide, let's say you get 24 cookies out of that half a cup of Crisco. 2 tablespoons of Crisco or shortening in a week is not gonna kill you. Get a grip.
Actually, Colleen says it. Hey, when the fecal matter hits the fan, it's not going to matter if it's Crisco, ramen, etc. Actually, the thing about Crisco
drives me nuts.
I think if you think Crisco is like death-defying, you should take a chemistry class. Seriously, some of those things are really overstated in the news and on blogs and YouTube
doctors
channels.
And all that stuff. If you're eating enough Crisco that it's making you physically ill like that, having heart disease or whatever, you need to cut back on what you're eating.
It's probably a volume of Crisco amount more than a Crisco is the problem.
You need to cut out the ho-hos and the Twinkies.
Tell it like it is, woman.
I'm sorry. It absolutely infuriates me when I get these health nuts on here and they're like, oh, you need a plant-based diet. A vegetarian diet is a very unsafe diet. I have had doctor after doctor after doctor prove it to me. I even know people who have been on vegetarian diets and they didn't stay on it. Why? Because it made them really sick. So all you health nuts, you need to find another channel because you're not going to get it here. I say go get your Crisco and eat it. 2 tablespoons a week ain't going to kill anybody. Same thing with margarine. My goodness, if you eat even a tablespoon of margarine a day, that is not hardly anything.
Vicky says same people that eat at McDonald's complain about Crisco.
I know.
Actually, the other day we were talking to a person who was smoking and telling us that she doesn't like all those foods with chemicals in them. And I was thinking, okay.
As she was smoking a cigarette, did you say that?
Yes. Like, I'm sorry, there are a lot more chemicals in the cigarette. And another thing about chemicals is that certain chemicals are bad. You don't want to have some kind of pesticide. Like, you don't want to be eating poison. But a lot of chemicals are actually pretty much anything that exists as a chemical. Salt is a chemical, and water is a chemical and all sorts of other things are chemicals. So just because somebody says chemical doesn't necessarily mean it's a poisonous chemical.
Okay, Robin wants to know.
Deborah says, have a donut for heaven's sake.
My goodness. I'm sorry. All of this has absolutely nothing to do with what you eat. It has everything to do with the amount you eat. My grandmother, hi Grandma, I know you're watching, is 94 years old. She has been eating a donut and her ho-hos and her cream horns and her Kraft macaroni and cheese for 94 years. She's never had a heart attack. She's hardly ever been to the hospital. I mean, never hardly been to the hospital at all. But she has always stayed the same amount of weight. She didn't eat the entire box of macaroni and cheese herself. She didn't eat the entire container of cream horns in one setting. She would eat a half of a cream horn over a week, each day over a week. It's the amount of food you eat. The reason why I'm overweight is because I eat too much food and I know it. I like my ho-hos and my Twinkies. And I admit it.
Although you don't eat those.
I don't eat those because I'm gluten-free and dairy-free, but you get the point.
You eat 3 boxes of your gluten-free ho-hos. Because it's healthier that way. Excited for DIY says, how dare you ask if you should stop doing lives? I think loving the ho-hos.
Okay, comment. So pull that comment because I'm going to actually answer that at the end and ask and tell you why I've been asking all these questions on our community page. Okay. Now, Robin says, I don't have storage to put in a lot of vegetables. My pantry is really small and I have to start a stockpile. I don't have a basement right now. We're getting ready for hurricane season to prep for 3 people. How do I do this? I need some ideas. Okay. Like we said earlier, just find any place you can put things. Under the couch. They have those slide out things that go under the bed, or just use the flats from the grocery store and slide them under the bed, slide them under your couch. Use them for furniture. Put them in the backs and corners of closets. Put it at the back of your sink where you can't reach. Any place you can see. You can find the tops, very tops of your corners in your closet. Do you have empty suitcases? You put lighter weight things like potato flakes or something in suitcases where you could take it out easy if you need to use the suitcase. The other thing is if you are in hurricane season, earthquakes, tornadoes, that kind of thing, if your house gets blown to bits, you're not going to need to worry about it. So I wouldn't worry about it. And yes, there is that chance it could happen. We were in Colorado with wildfires. Yeah, our entire stockpile can go up in flames. But the chances of that happening are pretty rare compared to a chance of a flood happening where we're trapped and we can't get out of our town. Okay, so you have to just kind of weigh what's going to be worse. But having said that, if you live someplace with hurricanes, tornadoes, floods, that type of thing, I would make sure that you put everything that you can. I wouldn't worry about canned goods or things like that, but like your rice, your potato flakes, your flour, your sugar, all of that, your salts, all of those things in some sort of plastic waterproof container. Because let's say the roof of your house gets blown off, but the rest of your house is okay. Well, you may get some water damage, but you may be able to save a lot of that, okay? Now, the other comment was somebody said on salt, because the salt is a cardboard container, it will absorb the moisture. Listen, don't worry about it. Guys, start reading some books from the 1800s about the pioneers coming out west. Start reading books from the 1700s or 1600s, the pilgrims coming out. Things like salt and sugar, do not throw it away if it gets hard. It is perfectly fine. Just take a knife and scrape off what you need and move on. That's how they actually moved salt and sugar in the old days. What do you think sugar cubes are? They're just hardened sugar. So don't throw those things away. They're still perfectly fine to use. Can you leave the black beans in the original bag? Tina wants to know. Yes, you can, and I do. Can you freeze lard? Yes. Now, I had a lot of people ask me, why don't I put stuff in the freezer? Number one, back to the bug thing. We live in Wyoming now, and we were in Colorado, and we just don't have bug issues here in the dry West like you do where it's humid back east, the Midwest, those types of things. Arizona, Utah, Colorado, Wyoming, Montana a little bit.
What?
All of us don't have moisture issues here, okay? But if you want to put your flour and all of that in the freezer, you only need to do it for 24 hours. You don't have to store it in there and leave it in there. So just do it for 24 hours. Can you freeze lard? Yes, you can. I actually have some bacon grease in the freezer right now that's extra. I just put it in Ziploc bags. Lard is bacon grease, for those of you who don't know. Lard is pork fat. I just put it in Ziploc bags, freeze it, and just stack it up in my freezer. Then I can use it for soap. I can use it for lotion on my hands. I can use it for cooking if I need to. So you can do that. Do you also store your sugar in plastic containers? Yes, normally I do. Like I said in the video, I just haven't gotten around to it yet, and I probably should because the washing machine is probably going to have a leak, and I'm going to have a huge mess, and I'm going to say, Tara, why didn't you get to this beforehand? I know, those things always happen.
Paula super chatted for a Bible fun. Thank you, Paula. She said, enjoying your live show.
Thanks, everybody. We are giving away Bibles right and left. So thank you very much. It's amazing how God is sending the money in and the Bibles are going straight out. It's just been really, really, it's been great. Okay, now before I get to the rest of the questions, guys, Dining on Dime Cookbook Volume 1 and 2 and our gluten-free edition we have in stock. The truck came and we weren't expecting it a week ago. So we have those in stock if you need it. Let's see.
Oh, Annie Box says if you go to an Asian market, sugar and salt are in rocks.
Yeah, it is. And that's common. That's a common way because they ship it that way because it's easier to ship. Yeah.
Hey, if you're posting questions in the chat, we will get to those.
Yep. Put them in I'm going to get to them. Karen, questions. How long is coconut oil good for? About 2 years, give or take. Do you have a good site to buy coconut oil in bulk? Big Lots here in the United States is the best deal I have found anywhere. Buying it bulk anywhere. Big Lots is the best deal, but she's in Australia and I don't know. Have you found a dried powder milk that is dairy free? No. I mean, you can get dried coconut milk that's dairy free, and I have used that. It's like a coconut creamer, and it's really good. But no, not a milk like you think of that's dried milk. And pasta sauces, tomato products in cans don't last as long as other canned goods from what I hear. All right, we are going through these really quick here. So somebody asked me, okay, Diane, there's no Chef Boyardee canned goods. I really like the raviolis. My family doesn't like it. They don't like the SpaghettiOs. They don't like the raviolis, so I don't buy it. Let's see. Somebody asked, and I was trying to find it, and I can't find it. Somebody asked about my dried eggs and dried butter. So here's my dried eggs. Okay. This is what it looks like. Okay, right there. Changes the color. Oh, I see what you're talking about. See what it does to the yellow. Oh, sure enough.
What? Oh,
I was going to paint the studio yellow, and Mike said it's going to turn the camera color. See how it's turning me blue? I'm so blue. I'm so blue. I don't know what to do. Okay, so.
Oh, we just got a flag on YouTube.
I use this for baking. Absolutely love it. For when I run out of eggs, like right now, when you can't get eggs, although now we have eggs again. So I think eggs are coming back. But love, love, love powdered eggs. I have used these for years. I mean, oh my goodness, like 30 years I've used powdered eggs. I just love using powdered eggs on a regular basis because it is just so convenient to not have to worry about having eggs. Now, if you're wondering on price, when I bought these, it was about 3 times the amount of buying eggs by the dozen. So it costs about 3 times more. But it's really convenient for storing long term. So this one I've had for 10 years. This one expires in 2027. So I got it in 2017, it says. I just opened it. You want to use it within about a year or so. So I'm working on getting it used up. But powdered eggs, powdered butter, powdered tomatoes are the 3 things that I get in the number 10 cans, and that's about it. Because those are hard to store longer term, like butter's really hard to store long term without being in the fridge or the freezer. I mean, you can can it, but it's kind of a pain in the rear. And eggs with the same thing. Okay. Do we have a generator? We do not have a generator. Here's the thing, guys. I have about $200 worth of food in the freezer and the fridge. So to me, buying a generator really isn't worth it. Now that we're in Wyoming, it might be worth it because if our power goes out in the winter for a long time, that could be an issue. But I'm not worried. I buy most of my stuff on sale, so I don't really worry about it.
In the winter, we don't even need to worry about it, right?
Well, if the heat goes out.
The heat. Yeah, I thought you meant on the food.
No.
Because
not on the food, but I wouldn't worry about the food spoiling in the winter. I would just put it outside in boxes.
Yeah, if the power goes out for a couple of days in the fridge and freezer, fridge would be a problem, but freezer, if you don't open it, would it last a couple of days? At least last.
Oh yeah, it lasts like 3 days. So when we had our ice storm in Kansas, well, in the summer it would last about 3 to 4 days.
But you have to leave it closed.
Yeah.
Don't open it.
Don't open it. Just keep it closed. Then if you have to, start cooking up your meat on the barbecue or on your rocket stove or start something and start sharing it with the neighbors or whatever. Can it, you could can it or that kind of thing if you want. Question, at what point do you start replacing what you need? Let's say you keep 40 cans of tuna and you get down to X amount of cans. Do you shop once a month to restock? Yeah. I mean, pretty much as I use it, I'll usually go down, 6 to 12 cans of tuna and then I'll go just buy a flat of tuna is how I do it. Okay, send me the thing of questions. I think I'm almost at the end here.
Actually,
is spaghetti a good item to stockpile? Yes, but I would get angel hair pasta because it cooks quicker. And if you have precious heat, like if you're cooking outside for a little alcohol stove or your rocket stove using wood, you don't want to waste heating fuel cooking thick pasta. So I wouldn't do that.
I'm sending you those, but just there were a couple of questions. I don't know if you answered them. Where would you get powdered eggs?
Amazon has them. Michael, get a link on Amazon real quick for you.
And Ellie Oakley was wondering if you have used them to make scrambled eggs.
I think I did to test them and they were fine. Yeah. I mean, they were fine, but I use them for baking. So I'm the only one who eats eggs. Well, I mean, the boys kind of eat them around here, but I'm the only one who eats eggs on a regular basis. How do I rotate my pantry? Anne-Marie wants to know. So I just buy the next item and I just put it on the bottom. If it's easy to move, it's not easy to move. I just make a new stack and then I know I'll use the old stack first and then next to it is the new stack is how I do it.
I sent you the list.
Okay. And I think, I noticed you stack your canned goods. You shouldn't do that. I've never had an issue with stacking canned goods. So
why?
They say it crushes the cans, but the stores do that. I've never, maybe.
You'd have to put a lot of cans on top of each other.
Yeah.
Which powdered eggs? This one? Well, that's a scrambled egg mix. Is that what you want?
They have a powdered eggs. It's the same company. Just a second, Mike's.
I'll say scrambled egg mix.
There.
Whole egg powder?
Yeah. Okay. Do I completely run out of a product? Wanda wants to know.
2 to 5 weeks.
Well, they're probably out because of the egg problem. So Wanda wants to know, do I let something run out before I restock it? No, I try not to. But as you saw, I only had a couple things of angel hair pasta because when I went to buy it, that's all they had on hand. So I couldn't get it. So I'm still looking to replace it. All right. Can I do some videos using recipes with stockpile food? Yes, I can. But guys, it's not hard. Just use canned chicken for regular chicken. Just use dry milk for regular milk. Just use powdered eggs for eggs. It's not rocket science by any stretch of the imagination. Just swap out the canned for the regular. People make these things way harder than it actually needs to be. And then I'm wondering why you don't can, because my mom always tells me the story about how my cousin was canning and it exploded and it cut her all up and burned her really bad. So that's why I don't can, because that would probably happen to me. I know how to can, and I probably could do it if I needed to. And if I needed to, I would do it. If my family's food depended on it, I would do it. But canning is a hobby nowadays. Sorry, I'm going to tick all you people off who are canners. I'm really sorry. I already know I've been down this road 3 years ago when I did my canning doesn't pay video. But by the time you pay for gardening and then pay for all the sugar and all the spices and the canning jars and all the heating up the house and the stove, heating the air conditioning for the house when the house gets hot, all of that stuff, and your time and energy, if you just enjoy do it, go for it. I don't care. It's fine. Go for it. But it doesn't actually save money, and it's a lot of hard work. And quite frankly, I would rather go to Lowe's and get a job for $15 an hour and go buy my canned goods than can. Now, that's me personally. I don't like canning. But if you like canning, go for it. I'm not going to knit myself a pair of socks. I don't like knitting. Mom likes knitting, so she can knit all the socks she wants in the world, and I don't care. But that's just me personally. But it doesn't save you money to knit your socks. Same thing with canning. So that's just my 2 cents. Go ahead and comment all you want because it just gives me more views. So you just go ahead and leave a comment on that when I make you mad. I'm okay with that. Let's see. I think I have answered all of the rest of these, I think.
She's looking at a different list. The list of ones you guys were asking today.
Yep.
I sent that. She'll be looking.
Do we have corn for veggies? No, we don't eat corn here very much.
Yeah, one thing is we don't stockpile things that we don't eat.
Yeah.
And you shouldn't either.
Yeah. Somebody said that their tea goes stale. I have not noticed that tea goes stale. So I'm not sure what kind of climate you live in. Maybe it's because I'm in a dry climate that it doesn't go stale. So I don't know.
On the sailing ships in the 18th century, tea lasted for a
really long time. Linda, have I ever considered the possibility that food shortages and our food control is here to stay? Would you stock up on less processed food, more single ingredient items? I mean, yeah, it's very possible. I mean, that's one of the things that could happen. So I would not put it past the government to do that by any stretch of the imagination. So have you ever tried a whole plant-based eating lifestyle? No, because it is not recommended. It's not safe, and I'm not going to do it.
One thing about the question about single ingredient things like rice and beans and things like that are fine, but a lot of stuff that people ask about, like lettuce, that has like a 10-day shelf life. You can't keep lettuce for a long time. You have to, if you want to keep lettuce for a long time, you have to have a garden.
Yeah. And how long does activated charcoal last? Really long time, I would say indefinitely. It doesn't really go bad. So, but keep it on hand because it helps if you get poops from food poisoning. You're going to really hope that you have it. And sometimes if I eat gluten, I will take it and it helps absorb the gluten. And so I don't have as bad of a reaction when I eat gluten. I'll just take a couple of those and it does help with that. Now, what about storing coconut or almond flour long-term? Those would spoil more so that you need to, would need to do those in vacuum sealed bags and probably the freezer, because those types of things would go bad fast. Okay, here's one that says, I love your storage. I'm a widow, but after paying the mortgage, utilities, bills, and not much is left, but I'm trying. P.S. I also have 7 cats to prep for.
Wait, what?
Okay.
Wait, what?
She's a widow, and after paying all her bills, she doesn't have money to pay for her preps, but she has 7 cats to prep for. Okay. I'm trying to be nice about this. But
if you're on a low income,
if you are on low income,
even if you're not on low income, that's a lot of cats.
And you do not have the money to prep, and you have 7 cats, 6 of those cats need to go. I am really sorry. You can't say you don't have money to stockpile and then say you have 7 cats. It's not okay. Human life is infinitely more valuable than animal life, period. I totally understand that some people have them as companions and they don't want to be lonely. That's fine. Have 1 cat or 1 dog. But if you cannot afford your bills, with 7 cats, you've got to be spending close to $200 a month at least on cat litter and cat food if you're treating them like they should be. I mean, if you're feeding them properly, at least. So there's $200 right there that you do have. You're choosing not to stockpile for yourself when you need it, or not to pay your bills when you need it, when you do that. So I'm really sorry to be harsh, but we see this all the time. People say they don't have the money for this or they don't have the money for that, but they have 4 huge dogs and they spend $450 a month on dog food. That is ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. So if that's the case, really, you need to be getting rid of some animals. And as they die, you need to not be replacing them either. So sorry for the tough love talk there, but you know.
Well, and the one thing about cats is in an emergency situation, they can find their own food.
Yeah.
But now when it's not an emergency, if you're on a very low income, particularly, it's taking all of your money.
Yeah.
And so we were just at a phase where we had 2 pets and we said no more. And then we ended up with 2 more for reasons we couldn't really control. And then
because our niece came to live with us,
yeah,
and she brought her cats.
And then we ended up letting them, when one would die, we wouldn't replace it with another one. Mm-hmm. And I think that would be, if you're just in love with your pets, I would
have 1.
But if you have a lot, then as they get old and die, I would have just not replaced them.
Okay. How dare you ask if you should stop doing the live? So why was I asking all these questions this week? Guys, we are just figuring out what our audience is and what our audience likes and what our audience needs and desires are. I'm not trying to get into your head or anything. Well, I mean, I guess I am, but it's just seeing what you want and what you enjoy so we can tailor the videos to you guys and not just be throwing them willy-nilly out there. So that's why I was asking a lot of the questions. Do you like the lives? Are they too long for you, too short? If we do the lives, should we keep the lives and then take and break them up for the rest of the week into smaller segments? Should we cut the lives at all and just do shorter segments? That's kind of the things that we were figuring out. So I'm glad you like the lives. Thank you. Appreciate it. How long do crackers last? Laura wants to know. Look at the expiration date, and I've been able to go like 6 months past the expiration date. Not too long because most of them have oil in them. It's oil going rancid that makes these things not last. That's why dried pasta lasts a long time, but crackers don't. They're made with basically the same ingredients, except that crackers have oil and pasta doesn't. So it's the oils in all of these things that cause them to go rancid. Bonnie, does cake mix go bad after the date? Nah, the baking powder in it can, but the flour and stuff, if it doesn't smell bad, is perfectly fine. Now you may need to add a teaspoon of baking powder if the baking powder went flat, but it should be fine. I have some in there right now that I'm using, and they're like 6 months past the date, and they're fine. Question, I think you said cans of tuna and chicken last way past the date. Am I correct? Yeah, I mean, I've used them like 2 years, 3 years past the date. I mean, you could probably go 5 or 6 years. Let's see. Yes, I use the powdered eggs for baking cakes. Tam wants to know. Pool Pot says, I had a major weevil invasion in all of my 360 organic rice bags. I now use Mylar absorbers in all of my rice. Yeah, and I think organic is worse than regular because they don't treat it with all those things. Winona is still reading the Bible that we received. Yay. If you guys cannot afford a Bible, please go to livingonadime.com, go to the shop, and we will send you a Bible on us for free. If you can't afford it, just ask and we will give you one. I want to can our own foods. How long does that keep? Sarah wants to know. So it depends on the food. You'll have to just look up a chart on Google or whatever. But most of them last a year to 18 months. Now, in my video, I showed you a can of, oh no, that video hasn't come out yet. Okay, so in a video that's coming up, I'll show you some canned green beans that I found at a garage sale from 1980. 42 years old these green beans were, and actually they looked pretty good, to be honest. And people will say, well, how do you know that was 1980 and not 2008? Because in the same box you'll see, I think it was like 84 and 82. Well, it wasn't 1928 and it wasn't 1948. So that's how I know it was 1980 and not 2008, which I thought was pretty crazy to find that. And I had a whole point about that in that video that you guys will want to know. Anthony, expiration dates. How do I listen to food and medicine? Peanut butter expired. How long will it last me? So, I mean, most things like peanut butter and those kinds of things, you can still get about 6 months. Oh, goodness, I'm sorry, guys. You will probably get about 6 months past the expiration date out of it. What about something like an old seal of meal for storage? Yes, Cindy, you can do that. That's fine.
I'm going to reshare our how long do stored foods last post, because it does talk about different kinds of expiration dates.
Get a link for the dried butter. Julie wants to know where to get dried butter. Mike will get you a link for that. Let's see.
If you click our link and you find out that it says it's going to take a long time to get it, you can go and search for that same thing in search, and you might find one that's faster.
Julie, many new preppers may stop prepping if they think it's too hard and have to wrap everything that you prep. Just keep it easy, because prepping really is easy. Yes, stop making it more complicated than you need to. A lot of these prepping people, it drives me nuts. They make it so complicated for food storage. I see what's happening back there. Do you think I have eyes on the back of my head, you know? Yes, you. I see you.
Mom just made that wonderful dinner, and it's a bag of cheap chips that he's eating. Not the dinner, is it cheap chips.
So stop making it more complicated than it needs to be. Just think, what do I eat? This is what I'm going to store. So don't overcomplicate issues. Just ignore the people who are using Mylar bags and canning flour. Just ignore them, okay? Shelly, how can I keep my meat from getting freezer burn? I use double Ziploc bags. I recently had to toss more than 50 pounds of fish and chicken. Okay, so first of all, did you actually cook it up and make sure that it tasted freezer burn? Just because you can see ice crystals on it does not mean that it's ruined. But the main thing for that is to not keep foods in the freezer past a year. Really, 9 months is pushing it. And just keep rotating through the freezer so you're not using it past a year. The other thing to do is to vacuum seal it if you want to keep it longer than that, and that should work.
Well, and also if the package is loose or not sealed all the way, has a hole in it or something, that would also cause that, right?
Yeah. Des says, do you have a plan to make sure food in the fridge or freezer don't go bad if there's a power outage for a day or two? A day or two, you're perfectly fine if you just keep it closed. Now, the refrigerator, your meats that aren't frozen will be bad in probably 6 hours, probably. 4 hours is when it starts growing bacteria. So let's say you have 2 hours where it's still cold, and then you have 4 more hours, it would be spoiled. So you need to, here's what you do. If you have a power outage, Go in the refrigerator and eat things that are going to spoil first. Your meats, number one. You're going to eat all your meats first. Number two, then your milk products. Your cheese will be fine, but like your milk and your creams, those types of things next. Butter can stay on the counter. Eggs can stay on the counter for a couple of days. It won't hurt anything. And then your fruits and vegetables, most of those are fine out of the fridge. You don't need to worry about it. Condiments like ketchup and mustard are fine, not in the fridge. Mayonnaise is not, though. Mayonnaise is not, because it's egg-based, and that will go bad. So don't do that. Do we invest in gold or silver? No, we do not. If the fecal matter hits the oscillation unit, I'm sorry, I'm not giving a $100 gold piece for a loaf of bread. I'm going to figure out something else. So,
that would be more if things are only going bad for a little while and you're trying to just be able to reinvest it later.
Yeah. Loretta, do we have a water filtration system? Yes, you saw it in the video, but just do a search on Living on a Dime and just say DIY Berkey, or just type in the word water and it should come up. Miss Jones loves our Dining on a Dime cookbook. She says it's helped with something, but I don't know what it helped her with, but thank you. Marilyn says, get rid of all the clothes in your closet that you don't use and use that space for stockpiling. Yes, girlfriend, that is true.
And that was particularly in response to somebody asking about having a small place.
Yeah. Heather said, people ain't going to care if it's Crisco when they're hungry. Exactly. Exactly. Josephine, I bought tomato plants. Should I put it in direct sun, and should I water it every day? So yes, it goes in direct sun. Should you water it every day? It depends on your climate. Here in Wyoming, I have to water every day. In Kansas, I did not have to water every day. It just depends on where you live. I don't know where you live, so if you get rain or have high humidity, you may not have to water every day. Nicole, baking grease is liquid gold. Yes, it is. I have 4 jars in my fridge right now, and I have probably, I don't know, 6 or 8 Ziploc bags in my freezer because we just love the stuff. And I was making bacon for a lot of things, so I ended up having a lot. Wanda, if you eat at one setting, doesn't it count as one serving? No, Wanda, I'm sorry. As much as we would love to believe that. You're so funny. Joyful Noise. Yay, caught you live. I just came across your channel in February and I'm hooked. Thanks. My favorite video so far is the heart to heart with you a year or 2 ago as I went. Well, thank you. I don't know which one that was, but thank you. How do you soften brown sugar when it gets hard? Actually, we have a video on that. Just type in brown sugar and you can see Mike doing that. Vicky?
Actually, some of the links to those questions that people have asked, I have added them to our show notes. If you go to livingonadime.com and where is it on there? I think right at the top it says videos and show notes is right down from there. So if you click there, all the links should be there.
All right, put in more questions, guys, if you have them, and Mike will send them to me. To Shelby Lynn says, to freeze bread, do you need to repackage it? I don't. I just throw it in there and then I just take it out of the freezer in its regular package. I do not refreeze it. Okay. Any other new questions, dear? By the way, guys, check out our Dining on a Dime cookbooks right here, right here. We are in stock now, and our gluten-free, dairy-free edition.
You made it through all those questions already? The ones I just emailed you? Okay.
I get to the point. No yakking here. We get to the point and we get the answers. They want to know. Inquiring minds want to know.
All right. I'm sending you a small amount that I had.
We always laugh because if somebody asks me a question, let's say they ask, Tara, how long does the stuff in the freezer last if the power goes out? And I say, 3 to 4 days, keep the freezer closed. Mike's version would be, well, now it depends on what kind of power outage you have. Now, if you have a regular power outage and it's only 3 to 4 minutes, you're perfectly fine. But if it's a full day, well, you're still okay, but don't go ahead and open the freezer door if you can avoid it. Now, if you're moving on to 18 to 24 hours, then you want to go ahead and still leave your freezer door closed. Now, if it's in the winter, you could probably open it. If it's freezing outside, it's going to keep it frozen. But if it's in the summer, then it's good. That's how we do. So that's why we're always laughing, right? That's why you're shocked that I got through all, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's exactly how we do it. For me, I'm like, yes or no. That's it.
Actually, yeah.
You can't resist.
Sometimes I'll say, do you like the red one or the blue one? Yes. Like, but the red one or the blue one?
He can, okay.
Although I have to say, I'm going to admit it. Sometimes I'll say, I forgot what it is. There's a way I'll ask the question where the affirmative is the negative.
No, here's the thing. Okay, you're going to see Tara and I get in a fight here. He cannot just ask me a question. He doesn't say, do you like the red one? Yes or no. He says, do you like the red one or do you like the blue one? Or he says, are we
What's wrong with that?
going in the car or are we going to the store? And I'm like, no, ask me one question. So I answer the first question. And then he's like, well, what is the answer? And I'm like, I answered the first question. Just ask me one question. Just ask me the question.
Most people get red or blue. Okay, let's see.
Yeah. Okay. Angelica says, Walmart has those dried eggs where I got mine from. Yes, we saw them in Utah. So some places do carry the dried eggs in the number 10 cans like that, if you can find them. Linda, for a word of encouragement, I enjoy watching and hearing your advice. Each person needs to tweak for what they buy and what works for them. Yes. Just do what works for you. We don't eat corn hardly at all. We don't eat dairy at all, very much. Jack eats dairy, but the rest of us don't. I'm not going to buy those things. But if you eat those things, go for it. I have no problem for that. If you like to can. Me personally, I want to stab my eyeball out if I have to can. But I don't care. If you want to can, go for it. That's totally fine. Karen, can you marinate canned chicken? Not really marinate it. You just add salt. It's already cooked. So you marinate chicken with to make it more tender, but the canned chicken's already cooked. So you could just make the marinade and use it as a sauce if you like that particular marinade is how you would do it.
Okay, so there's some discussion about talking more or less. And some people say my husband talks a lot too. And then Carrie says, I talk like Mike. I'll tell you why I do. I didn't used to that much. But what happened is working at a lot of jobs, I would ask someone a direct question. When will you be there? And they would give some kind of weird evasive question. And I started to realize I have to be very, very clear about what the options are and then ask directly, what is this?
And he likes to talk.
But when I was working at a lot of places, people would say, you never said that. So then I was like, okay, I have to say like everything.
And he likes to talk.
Oh yeah, look who's been blabbing for an hour and a half.
I'm getting to the point. All right. And congratulations on 300,000 subscribers. Thank you very much. We did hit 300,000 subscribers yesterday. So we're super excited about that. Michelle, do we have a P.O. box for Bible donations? So we do have a lot of people that want to help us by donating so that we can give out more free Bibles. You can send a check to Living on a Dime, P.O. Box 6837, Sheridan, Wyoming, 82801, if you want to send a check or a money order. And if you want to donate online, go to Living on a Dime, go to the free Bible, and there's a Bible donation link there that you can do also. 100% of the money that we get for Bible donations goes to Bible donations, goes to free Bibles that we give out. Okay. Now, some of them we also give, like there's a church in the Philippines that we have been supporting for a year, and they asked for several Bibles so they can hand them out in the community in the Philippines. So we do help buy specific churches if we know that it's a specific church, we vet these people out. We just don't send money willy-nilly to people.
There are a few that we specifically work with.
Yeah. And so there's a church in Austria that we sent some. It's kind of hilarious. They're in Austria. It's an English-speaking church of Nigerian immigrants. We thought that was crazy. We were like, holy moly. So if that's not the world church, I mean, how do you say that? Showing how Christians
Every nation,
are.
tribe, and tongue.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. Yeah, that's what I was trying to say.
It was pretty awesome. What's interesting is it was really hard, and we placed this order from this place that wasn't used to getting that many.
Yeah.
So they broke it. I would get a message every now and then saying, "Hey, we sent so many more of them, and we sent this many more," until they finally got them all.
Yeah, so. It was hard to get them, but we got them too. Dee Dee says, I started reading the Bible again since finding your channel. That is great. Get you an easy to read, like New Living Translation, NIV, New King James. Those are all easy to read. We have a question on the gluten-free, dairy-free cookbook. So it is our original cookbook that I made into gluten-free, dairy-free recipes, including sandwich bread and pizza and all those recipes that you really miss when you go gluten-free. So it's this cookbook here. Gluten-free, dairy-free. It's the recipes I use for my gluten-free, dairy-free diet. Okay, more questions, dear.
I've got like 3. That's all I was able to get to so far.
How long will bacon grease last in the fridge? Christian wants to know. My goodness, I've had it 6 months in there. And then if I feel like it goes bad, then I just make soap out of it. But I haven't ever had it go bad. Loretta, during hurricane season, lessons learned, all depends. We don't overstock the freezer. Yeah. I mean, I would be careful, like Tornado Alley, Hurricane Alley. I wouldn't overstock your freezer, definitely.
She says, more canned goods, she says.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. Shelly asked, did you answer this? I missed if you did. You didn't say what.
So put it back in there.
So if you just re-ask the question, that'd be awesome. We may or may not have answered it.
Yeah. Put it back in there.
He says Mike needs to analyze the situation.
Yeah, that's pretty much true. Clayton, how long does bottled water last? Quite a while. I mean, I would say a year or two. Now, somebody asked on my water storage. I do have a separate water storage in the room next to that one. I don't have a lot of water built up yet, but I just store in old soda bottles and like my bubble bath bottles. So the ones that aren't food safe, like my bubble bath bottles, those would be used for washing dishes, that kind of thing. The food safe ones, the apple juice bottles, the soda bottles, old water bottles, all of those are water storage. And what I do is every 6 months in the spring, I empty them to water my plants. I just have the kids make a line and I just hand them all to the kids up the stairs and then they set them out there. And then I water all my plants and then I just refill them. And then in the late fall, like I'll do that in April or May, and then October, into September, October, I'll do it again. And then that's how I keep my water rotation going. How do you make homemade oxygen absorbers? I have no idea. I don't know. Yeah. So, Veronica, we are Canadian and have a USPO box. Will you ship to USPO box? Yes, we will ship if anywhere in the United States or APOs, FPOs, whatever it's called, Guam, Puerto Rico. We do ship any United States address. Unfortunately, due to everything going on with that thing going around and all kinds of stuff happening, we've had to just stop shipping outside the US because customs has just been a nightmare. And so I've just had to give up because we just lost too many books. It was just too expensive for us to do that. A food haul, actually. So all of this back here is my $100 to feed a family of 4 for a week. That video is coming up, I think, Monday, if I can get it done. Not sure if I'm going to get it done Monday. It might be either next Monday or next Friday. But yes, that I got started on today.
The Bible is about which version is the Bible? It's New Living Translation.
And it's a large print. We have a lot of older people on disability, that kind of thing, who can't afford Bibles. So we got the large print also.
And we give New Living Translation because it's really easy to read.
Yeah. There you can see. There you go. Okay. So you can see. What's the most you would spend on a used car? Oh man, right now, it's hard to say because used cars are so expensive. It used to be we wouldn't spend more than $5,000 for a van and $3,000 for a four-door sedan. Now I would probably say 5 to 7 for a four-door and maybe 8 to 10 for a van. I don't know. Cars are so expensive right now. We've been waiting for 3 years to get a new car. So, and I don't know. I just can't bring myself to pay the ridiculous prices at the moment. So, do you add anything to the bottles of water saved? No, I don't, but you can add a couple of drops of Clorox if you want, non-scented. Do you stock coffee also, and how? Yep, I just leave it. We do stock coffee. It was in the video, and I just make it. You can go ahead and send those to me. And I just leave it in the cans on the shelf. Let's see.
Janet, joined late, beginning prepper. Is it best to store in containers to mouse proof?
Yeah, we discussed that at the beginning of the show, so you can go back and watch that. But I discussed that in length at the beginning. So yeah. Renee, Tara, I've learned so much for you. Thank you for spreading the word. Oh, you're welcome. Thank you for watching us. And by the way, we appreciate all you guys watching us. Yes. We do. I'm sorry I had a moment the other day with the whiners. Really, they don't bother me on a regular basis. It's just sometimes I'm just like, the stupid gene is going around. I don't know. It's like, really, people, do we have to keep going over the same stuff over and over? Did you email that to me?
Yes.
So there are just days, they don't really get to me. Like, I don't sit here and think, you know, oh, woe is me type thing. But, you know, some days you're just like, really, people, use your brain. So, okay. In Europe, eggs are not washed and have a longer room temperature storage life. Yes, that is true.
Sorry. Prudence is asking, how do I save fresh bagged spinach? There isn't any way.
You can dry it. You can make spinach powder and dry it.
But other than that, it'll go bad pretty fast.
So you can dehydrate it. You can dehydrate it and make a spinach powder and add that to your soups and your smoothies and stuff. But other than that, you can't really do anything. Jan, I worked at the extension for 43 years. Frozen food is still good if there's still ice crystals on the package. Yes, that is very true. Allie says regular jugs of water last year and then they will start to have slow leaks. So if you buy jugs of water, make sure you have thick plastic square jugs. Yes, and I put mine in a tote normally. I don't have mine in a tote right now, but it's in a room where it has a drain at the moment. So I'm not worried about, you know, anything happening. But yeah. Diva Mama, my powdered egg replacer in a resealable zip bags, Bob's Red Meal. Should I put it in glass mason jars for longer shelf life? It would be the same. Yeah, it wouldn't really matter. Fruit. How do you store excess amounts? Dehydrating it would be the best way, or freezing it. Dehydrating or freezing. My hubby loves your cookbooks. Pull a pot. I think that's how you say it. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And Tara, I've learned we're in my space. I have a space right here.
Yes.
There are moments where I'm just like, don't anybody come around me and just leave me alone.
Oh, I was gonna say, these things do happen. As long as these things happen, this thing does not happen. Okay, that's a quote from something.
But you don't remember what?
I know what it's from. I just don't know who will recognize it.
Oh, okay. Does anybody recognize it?
I'll give you a hint.
I know it, but I can't remember.
Her Majesty's Theater.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's right. I knew that. That's right. Okay, Renee, I've learned so much for you. Oh, I said that one. Thank you. You're welcome. Let's see. Mom Puff, I love and appreciate you guys so much. Love from Kentucky. Thank you.
Thank you. I like the name Mom Puff.
Will vacuum sealing mason jars keeps bugs out of dry goods? Yes, it will. If you want to do it that way, that is fine. Is a dehydrator worth it, Jan? I think it is. Mom and I have had a dehydrator for 10 years, and we did get it as a promotional thing. We did a review on it. As a matter of fact, If you type in dehydrator, that video is on there. We got the Excalibur from them as a review product, but I would say after 10 years, I would have spent the $300 that it costs to buy one, because we have way more than got our money's worth out of it. I mean, I know we got it free, but if I would have had to pay the $300 for it, it would have been worth it, is what I'm saying. And I guess I should probably do another review video on that, because it's so true. Teresa says, why is the Stockpile a storage unit in the city, not at our home? What if I can't get to the food? I wouldn't do a storage unit.
One problem with storage units is, especially if you live in a climate where the temperature varies, it can be like putting it outside in a garage or a storage unit. If the temperature gets hot and then cold, can make it all go bad faster. Yeah. Oops, there were some new questions here. Did you want me to send them to you? Or
you can read them if you want.
Aussie Mom Homestead, is there anything good morning. Is there anything you buy that you don't use regularly, but is there just in case? Probably the oil lamps and stuff like that.
You mean for food? I think she means for food. Dried beans, we don't use regularly. Honestly, we use canned more than dried. But I would use them, like if they're getting to be 2 or 3 years old, then I would start using them. Yeah. Heather, one more question. What's the most miles you would buy a car with? Really? We try to never buy a car with more than 100,000 miles on it, ever.
And we've been buying more Toyota. We did buy a Honda at one point. We used to buy a lot of Fords and Chevys. Sorry, Ford and Chevy people, but
nope,
they seem to have 100,000. After 100,000 miles, they seem to roll over and be dead.
Yeah, they've cost us more money than anything.
But Toyotas, ours is at 200,000 miles. We've been driving it since 2008, 7.
Probably 7. Yeah.
And it hasn't hardly needed anything all these years, and so. We tend to look for Toyotas and Hondas and not more than 100,000 miles, and figure they'd go for at least another 100. But theoretically, the Toyota could go for 300. But we wouldn't buy it that high, because at that point it's going to need a lot of work.
Yeah, Jan, does the buy one get one free price a good price? That's where you have to know your prices. A lot of times it's not, so you have to know what your prices are. But sometimes it can be, so you just have to know what your prices are. Winter Soldier. Submerging fruit in equal parts white sugar and water creates a syrup in the glass jar. Tighten lid. Yes, sugar preserves fruit really well. So if you want to can fruit or do it that way, it's perfectly fine. Sugar is a preservative. For your gluten-free recipes and our gluten-free book, do you use xanthan gum? Yes. So xanthan gum, there's nothing wrong with it. It's not weird or anything. It's just an additive that makes stuff fluffy. So it replaces the gluten in flour. So it just makes stuff fluffy. So, I mean, if you have an allergy or something to it, then, you know, of course, don't use it. But you can use another replacement if you want to. Xanthan gum is made from, what is it made from? It's produced by fermenting a carbohydrate, usually sugar. So there you
go. In case anyone was wondering, that was Mike's not the best attempt at doing the diva from Phantom of the Opera.
Yeah, my favorite. I love Phantom of the Opera. Susanna, what luxury items do you stockpile? Maybe hard candy. Somebody asked about the lack of chocolate in our stockpile. There is no chocolate in our stockpile except for baking cocoa. I don't really like chocolate. I mean, I like chocolate. I'm not saying I don't like chocolate, but I don't have issues with chocolate like Mom does and Mike does. So I'm just looking at it as a great time for us to lose
Problem
weight.
is we'd have to hide it in the stockpile, or it would be gone before very long.
Pretty much, yeah. Pretty much. Okay, you got any questions real quick?
Guess you already answered all those. I don't see new ones. People are just talking about cards in there. Yeah, the ebooks are at the same store, livingondime.com.
Oh.
And I've been sharing the links. Yeah.
Becky wants to know, I bought an oil lamp at Walmart, the fresh lamp oil, and lit the wick soap, trimmed it, etc. I cannot keep that thing lit. I put the chimney on it and it goes out no matter what. I'm not sure what the problem with that is. So I don't know. Does somebody have an answer to that? Because I don't know what the problem is.
Did you try it without the chimney? I mean,
yeah,
it
sounds like it works without the chimney, but when she puts the chimney on, it doesn't. So
really
I don't know.
Leona was asking, how should they prepare for rolling blackouts this summer?
Okay, so actually I'm going to do a video on that in about a week or two. But yes, I mean, basically make sure, okay, so have foods on hand that you don't have to cook. Granola bars, Pop-Tarts, cereal, ravioli, SpaghettiOs, oatmeal that you can just soak with water. Those kinds of things. You need to have on hand foods that you don't need to cook, okay? Secondly, don't panic. If it goes out, leave your freezers closed. Your freezer will be fine for 2 to 3 days. If it's full, if your freezer is not full, get some jugs of water and put it in there. The coolness from the frozen ice in the water jugs will help keep everything cool. Let's see. If you live in a hot and humid climate, make sure you have those old-fashioned hand fans, you know, like Scarlett O'Hara used. Have a hand fan, battery-powered personal fans they have now. Make sure that your windows and doors are open during the day if it's cooler at night, and close all of the windows, curtains in the afternoon if the sun comes in so your house doesn't heat up. Wipe yourself down with water, put a cool rag around your neck and shoulders to help with that. Make sure that you drink plenty of water. And guys, people have survived just fine without air conditioning for centuries. We're weenies now, and so we're not used to it. But
we live in Wyoming too.
And I know it's not pleasant. I totally get that. But doing all these things, you will keep yourself cool enough so that you shouldn't get heat stroke and you shouldn't get sick. And what I would also do is make sure that you have frozen bottles of water and that type of thing in the freezer, just so that as it melts, you can have something really cool and refreshing to drink. So, I mean, those are some of the tips, but we're going to go through and do that. And also electrolytes. Comfort Creek Ranch is right. Either have electrolytes or put a pinch of salt in your water, and that will help keep that going also. Let's see.
Yeah, there's discussion about whether you should have a DNA test so that your mom can find out if you're really her daughter because of the chocolate. Jill absolutely adores chocolate. So
my mom has issues.
I'm sorry,
I hate
Jill,
to be the one to reveal it, but my mom has issues. I can't help it. I'm sorry. I know. What is a girl to do?
Yep.
You know, sometimes you just have to let people wallow in their addictions, face the consequences.
Yes, there is a planner ebook.
Yes.
I don't remember.
Yes. So we have the 2020. This is our undated planner, but we have the 2022 version in the ebook. I'm waiting on the printer to get me the file for the undated version. I've been waiting for about 2 months now. So
what we have there that's undated right now is a certain number of pages.
Yeah, and we do have the old version that's undated, which, well, actually, it's basic. The pages are the same. The pages are the same. So, but the printer had some medical issues in their family, so I've been lenient on that because I totally understand with that. But our planner in ebook form is on there. It just has a different cover. So anyway, and we do have planners in stock, guys, if you want the planners.
So there's a
All
question
right.
here that I don't know. Re-Empire 888, could you answer Liana's question on temp in pantry? I think that means we didn't actually.
Well, I mean,
just did
ideally, if you can keep it at 70 degrees in a cool, dry place, that's the ideal scenario. Doesn't always work that way. I really wouldn't store canned goods or stuff if you live in the South and it gets hot and humid all summer. I wouldn't do that. But, you know, ideally I would keep it 70, 72 degrees. Now, if your house gets up to 78 or 80 in the summer, that's no big deal. So I wouldn't worry about there. Yeah. Do you keep a list of items that we stockpile? No, I don't actually. I just cook from my pantry and I just rebuy as I'm out of something.
So what's in the Stockpile ebook? Or that's not food items, that's emergency items?
The Stockpile ebook, the free Stockpile ebook?
Yeah.
Well, I have all the recipes to use for stockpiling, and then I have the list of what to stockpile.
I think that's what they're asking for.
Oh yeah, and
the
Michael put a link for a free Stockpile ebook.
But does that have food things or just emergency items?
No food.
Does
it has all of it. Yeah. Yeah, we have everything in there. We have food and other things. So is there a playlist of Mom's videos? No, hers are all just in with everything. The Penny Pinch and Mama series does have its own series, so you can check that playlist out.
Are there, sorry, Carolyn said if there's no chocolate in the house, you have to eat chocolate chips.
Yeah, no kidding.
Susanna asked if we stock any luxury items. Like just things that we want for special things. Oh, well,
I already answered that, but
did you?
No, I mean, I don't really have anything that's a luxury. I don't know. What would you consider? Okay, comment. What's a luxury item? I don't know what a luxury item would be.
Well, it's not really a luxury item, but the closest she comes to is if things are really bad and you're eating a lot of bland stuff, she has like peppermint candies and things like that. But that's not really luxury in terms of what most people would think of as luxury.
Yeah.
It would be luxury though if you were just, eating survival type stuff all the time.
Yeah. Wanda, what did they do about the temperature back in the day when there was no power? So in the old days, to keep their milk and butter and that cool, they would put it in the well, or they would put it in a stream and keep it cool, or they would keep it in a cellar a lot of times. That's what they would do.
We saw the coolest old house in Kansas one time that it was somebody came out and put it in. It was way ahead of its time on technology, but they had, was it the stream that they?
Mm-hmm. There was a spring that ran down the hill. So they built the house so that it was right in line with the spring, and the spring came into their house through a pipe, and then they had fresh water, and they had a refrigerator from cold spring water. Yeah.
It was like a room with a little ditch around it, and the water went through there, and then it went into this little tank that was attached to their old wood burning stove. Then the tank was water that would heat, so they had cold and heat all together. It was amazing. And Dee Dee's right. They used sawdust to cover ice, and they put it underground, and that's how they kept ice for they probably got it through July or August, I would bet. Diane said, I bought ghee at the store, never opened jar, but now it's liquefied. Is it still good? Yes,
but don't buy ghee at the store. It's super easy to make. Super easy. And like 5 times cheaper to make at home, even with butter going a little bit higher. All you do is put it in the pan and boil. Just let it simmer, and it'll go from being cloudy, and it'll have little bubbles, and then it'll have big bubbles, and then you'll go back, and the big bubbles is water evaporating, and then you'll go back to little bubbles. When you see a clear layer on top, you'll see kind of foamy stuff on top, and then you'll see a clear layer, and then on the bottom, you'll see all the milk solids going down. Scrape off the foam on the top, pour the clear liquid into a jar, and leave the milk solids on the bottom, and you got ghee. That's how I do it. I make it like once every 2 weeks. I do 4 pounds of butter all at one time in my Dutch oven, put it in little mason jars, and then we eat like 1 every week or so. Mike and I do.
I forgot who it was. Oh, Richard. Richard asked, what is ghee?
It is clarified butter. It is butter without the milk solids.
So, like, if you have trouble with dairy, you can
eat it, but still have butter flavor.
And still have the butter flavor, yeah.
And it doesn't burn like butter because the milk solids are out of it. So that's really good.
So Christy asked if we have done a pantry tour video yet. Yes.
Yeah, that's what we're talking about, answering questions. So just go back one video.
Well, no, she's on Facebook. It's on.
Oh, it's on
YouTube.
YouTube.
Our YouTube channel. Yeah. You go to our YouTube channel. It's a video before this one.
Yeah.
So, yep.
Yeah. Do you stockpile vitamins? Yes. Yes. And drink mixes and Tang and Kool-Aid. And guys, stockpile your Tang and Kool-Aid and drink mixes this week because they always go on sale for Memorial Day and Labor Day. Usually, I haven't checked the ads this year. I need to go check. But usually they go on sale for those.
Is Ghee shelf stable?
Yeah.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I keep it in the refrigerator when I'm not using it, but when we're using it, it'll stay on the counter a week without going bad. If you live in a hot climate and your house is hot, though, it will spoil quicker, though. So like in the summer, I would keep it in the refrigerator.
I know we're not canners, but if they were canners, if they can,
you can can it.
Well,
summer. Yeah, and actually, Ghee is really easy to can because all you do is pour the hot Ghee in a canning jar. I use the small 1-cup canning jars with a new lid, and the heat cans it for you. So it'll suck the lid down for you and it'll can for you. So Ghee's really easy to can because you don't have to water bath it or anything like that. You just put the canning lid on it, seal it, and it'll can itself. As a matter of fact, I accidentally canned a bunch of Ghee the other day because I got some new canning jars and I totally wasn't even thinking. I just put the new lids on there and they all started hearing pop, 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 pop. And so they were all canning themselves and I didn't even realize it. So
Judy is asking, I didn't hear this, so have you answered about different things to use for cooking besides a rocket stove?
No, but I know I've been saying this for 6 months. I just am dreading doing this video because I know it's going to be a pain in the butt to do. I'm going to do a video on that. As a matter of fact, I've had the stove sitting right here on the floor. So let's see, can you see? Oops, wait, no, nope. Let's see.
Girlfriend, you're gonna give him sick.
There. Can you see right there?
Google's going to play some ad for Dramamine here.
I've had those 2 rocket stoves sitting there to remind myself to do the video for 6 months. I know. I need to just get on it. But yes, there's like 4 different ways you can cook without it. So
she also asked, is there an alcohol burner? Is an alcohol burner stove a good thing to store?
Yes. Yep, I have. If you go watch my video on that, you'll see I have some of that. Do you stockpile clothing, etc.? To a point, I do. I try to have at least an extra bag of socks for everyone and an extra pair of jeans or 2 or 3 pairs of jeans. For growing kids like Jack, I try to have at least the next size up, if not 2 sizes up for everything, which is easy for me because he had brothers before him. So I just have the hand-me-downs, but like shoes and stuff, you know, that kind of thing. Prudence solar cookers are fine. I mean, I think they're okay, but they're slow. You've got to make sure you have enough sun. In Kansas, it probably wouldn't work because it's really hazy all the time. Here in Wyoming and in Colorado, it probably would have worked fine if you want to do that. So
I was telling Tara the other day, a lot of people, I think, don't know that you can improvise a lot of things. Like she talked about in the old days. And I remember even when we were kids, we're not that old, but you can, if you need to keep something cold, you can put it on the edge of a stream. Or cooking. I used to take beans and rice in a little plastic container to the library, and maybe an hour before, in the summer, an hour before I was going to eat it, I would go stick it on the dashboard of the car, close the car, because the car is like a big
oven.
It's like a big oven.
You can dehydrate food in the car.
And I mean, you'd want to definitely put it on in the right kind of container, because if you just leave it out, it's going to do nasty stuff. But I put you can. In an emergency, that would be really useful to know that anything that's closed with windows in the sun will gain a lot of heat because the heat can't escape. Yeah.
Lamp oil, I just get regular lamp oil. So I don't really worry about it. So I don't know how clean burning it is, but I don't really worry about it too much. So
I don't know if you know, Yuchi was asking, how do you store quinoa? You don't have to store quinoa. So
well, I don't eat it, but it would be like any other grain. I would just probably if you want to do long term, I would vacuum seal it, but I would just put it in a jar and just not can it, just a jar or a plastic bag. Just depends on what you want to do. I mean, just be like any other grain. Let's see. Okay, so anyway, I think that's it.
Okay.
All right.
It's been awesome having all of you here.
Thank you so much, guys, for answering all of our questions and helping us out. We love you guys. Visit us at livingonadime.com. We'll see you guys next time.
Bye.